What's up, everybody? I'm Corey, I'm the Dungeon Master. Thank you again for coming to the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, click, whatever it is that you guys do. The more you do that, the more people can find us on their feed, and the more people that can join the adventure. Thanks, and enjoy. Hi everybody, I'm Corey, I'm the Dungeon Master. Welcome back to the next episode of Opportunity to Roll. I'm here with Group 2. Say hi everybody.
Hi.
Y'all.
Hello.
So, let's recap for the listeners. The last episode entailed you guys kind of splitting up again. This time, Flora did not go with you. Mila and Aeson went to go speak to more of the nobles. You guys ended up meeting Dan Brimsworth. You met him. He seemed like an okay guy, I think is kind of the feeling that you got from him.
Yeah.
He did warn you about Van Dusken. And then from there he also brought fried chicken to...
Made a mean fried chicken.
Yeah, mean fried chicken.
Told me so, gave me some advice about my duel.
Yes, yeah. Give you a little insight as to what Pimbrim is a little bit about. From there, I think you split off from you guys. We went to Zachariah and Lynn, who ended up running into the Mangus. And you guys literally have but pretty much one more hurdle. You've got pretty much all of them but the Emerald Fighter. And so it was kind of where we left. It was about 2 p.m. on the 24th, I believe. Yeah. It's on the 24th, 2 p.m. And the last thing you felt was this really odd wind. And it wasn't a natural wind like the storm, right? So it's not something that could easily be kind of blown off as, oh, okay, well, it's raining, there's a little bit of a gust. No, this went opposite from where the storm was coming. And so it created a bit of an odd feeling, almost. From there, though, I'd like to pick it back up. I want to go back with Aeson and Mila. You guys are still in the higher-end quarters of the town. You still have 3 noble houses still left to kind of observe and go to. Or did you want to take a break, go somewhere else? I'd like to pick up there, if that's all right.
Sounds good.
All right. Aeson will walk into and stand under the overhead awning as he leaves Dan's house. Look around. It's still raining, correct?
It is.
Oh, what a wonderful day to do this, Mila, right? I mean, it increases our odds, though, because who wants to be out in this kind of weather?
Mila is a little tiny bit distracted by this odd kind of magical feeling that just washed over, but soon after she kind of shakes her head and goes, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm glad the festival's not taking place today.
Yes, me too. It's going to be wild. And Aeson is going to look around, just survey. Probably not too many people out to look at. Then he'll turn to Mila and tilt his head towards the next house. Shall we?
She just kind of like gives a small nod and kind of puts the hood up over her from her cloak under her head and just and starts walking.
Aeson will walk with her, and then once they get to the next house, hopefully find somewhere to stand under so she can do her magic trick again.
Okay. This one's not going to have as much of a room. There is still, if you kind of crowd towards the door a little bit.
Well, Aeson will definitely get crowding towards the door. Noble must present himself looking his best.
Yeah, as soon as she sees that both of them are under like as much dry as possible, she just like snaps for Aeson, then snaps for herself, cash prestidigitation, and dry them both off.
So you're at this rather large stone building. It has all types of gargoyles and intricate stone just of pillars and large stained glass windows. The door that sits before you is an oaky finish with a large dark iron knocker.
Aeson will take the knocker in his hand and knock, knock, knock. Hold on.
So after a few thuds of this iron knocker, you'll hear a bit of a footstep, and just coming out from behind the door is a relatively small female, humanoid in form. She doesn't seem to be any type of, I wouldn't say nobility, so she doesn't have the dressings of nobility. If anything, you might think a servant or a handmaiden. She'll kind of smile to you. Her hair is more of a it's more like a very light blonde, almost a white. Her skin is still very fair, but you can see that her hands are definitely one of basically a servant. So they're a little rough. Her clothing is not much to mention, but her eyes are what give her away as a little odd. There seems to be something else in her bloodline a little bit, as her eyes are this tinted silver. How may I help you?
Oh, hello there, ma'am. My name is Aeson, and this is my friend Mila, and we were looking to introduce ourselves to the local nobility while we were in town.
I see. So you're looking for Sir Van Duskin?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Okay. I regret to inform that he is currently in his study and has been asked not to be disturbed. However, if you would like to come in out of the rain, I can go and knock and see if he would be interested in entertaining. I do know that is polite etiquette.
That would be wonderful, and let him know that the second son of the King of Graydon is awaiting him.
Will do. She'll kind of open the door and let you guys step in. Of course, there's a long, elegant entryway. This whole building, mostly made of stone, sparsely populated with some interesting, I'd like to say like throw rugs, really. Very old. They look like they could probably even do with a bit of a patting down. But other than that, the stone seems almost impeccable. Polished well taken care of, and well dusted. In this entryway, there are two large staircases which lead up to a banister and a walkway to each ends of the room. Each end will have two large doors to open up to what seems to be, you could guess, probably more rooms or a hallway. And then at the very back, at the edge of this, at the very back, is a large two-way door up at the very top of the steps. She will go up the right side and knock on the door very lightly. Sir Van, there are people here to see you. One of them is second in line to the throne.
While she's doing this, I'm guessing that we were escorted to like a sitting room.
No, you were still in this large corridor.
Oh, this large corridor.
There are two seats over near the entrance to the doors, so it's kind of like an entryway via kind of sitting romp welcome room.
Okay.
Awesome. So I'm not going to sit, but I'm going to turn to Mila and I'm going to whisper to her, Mila, this is where we need to be our strongest and most confident. According to Dan, this man is quite a a dick. So we must not show any weakness. We must be confident and strong. So back straight, eyes forward, smile, whole 9 yards.
As he's kind of like telling her no, back straight, eyes forward, she's kind of like doing like, she's like straightening her back, she's adjusting her head, she's like putting on a polite smile. Just okay. I can do this.
He'll put a hand on her shoulder and give her a reaffirming squeeze.
Okay. I'll be fine, Aeson. Yeah, I'm gonna be fine.
Aeson will nod and smile as he will cross his hands in front of him, like, down towards where his lap is, standing politely, waiting to be addressed.
All right. After a moment, the door will crack open outward, and you'll hear a bit of a whisper between him and her. This will go on for probably a couple seconds. She'll nod and make her way back down the steps. She will reach you guys and kind of look to you with a smile. May I take your coats or anything like that? May I be able to get you something to drink or maybe something to nibble on?
Taking my coat would be wonderful, and Aeson will remove his jacket and hand it to her.
Mila kind of just takes off her cloak and hands it to her, kind of gives her a small bow as a thank you.
Now it's even in more plain view, Aeson. It does have his longsword strapped to his side. It is a fancy sword, nonetheless, but, just something his father gave him before he left.
Okay. After a while, he will make his way out of the doorway. He will be in very colorful clothing, kind of pillowy almost. He'll look to you, each with a smile, as he stands at the very top of the stairs. And for a moment, he almost strikes a pose. Before you see his footsteps slowly making his way down the steps. It's such a lovely thing for you to come and visit me, Your Highness. I trust your travel was not a long one.
Great into Croca. What? Few days? I went and took the scenic route, however. Met around, did some tromping, saw the sights. It was wonderful.
Good. And what see you of the town during this festival? I perhaps hope that you are finding things to your liking. Mind you, he's also saying this as he's taking one step slowly. So he's got like a hand trailing the handrail behind him as he speaks to you in a very elegant manner, as these movements are very dramatic.
I was gonna ask, is he taking one step at a time with each word? Because it's just because if he is, Mila's just kind of sitting there her hands just are kind of tapping against each other, just kind of okay, hurry up.
Aeson will be speaking back to him with a more serious and authoritative voice, but still, his pleasant demeanor. He will be, the festival is suiting me fine. We are just around introducing ourselves to all the local nobility, as is customary for nobility from Graydon, at least. This is Lady Leofina. I am, as you know, Aeson Goldhand. And I just wanted to come and see how you were doing, and I wanted to inform you of some interesting going-ons tomorrow.
Ah, I see. I thank you for bestowing such great honor upon me and visiting. I might maybe be able to return the favor if you're interested in more festivities later in the evening. I know they have a few things going on in town, a challenge, so to speak, for the guilds, and I myself am putting on a play later at the night.
A play, you say?
Indeed. It's a revamp, really, of a very interesting Prince and the Pauper kind of thing.
Well,
and he'll finally reach the bottom of the steps.
How tall is this man?
He is a little bit on the taller side, so he's about 5'9".
Man, Aeson is so much taller than everybody here.
Actually, Mila's taller than him as well.
It's because y'all are giants.
Yeah, Aeson's 6'2".
Mila's
so...
5'10". I'm 5'3" in real life. Let me play tall characters.
Yeah, I'm 5'11" in real life, so I'm not too far off. But I just wanted to be 6 foot plus, for it to be good.
I'm
So
5'10", and I don't feel tall whatsoever. Excuse me.
Well, you see, so there was this guy in high school.
No.
I was 4'7" when I went into my freshman year, and he was in my Spanish class. He was 6'11".
Oh god!
I was up to his belly button.
I knew a kid like that, but I'll talk about it later.
He dunked. But so Aeson will nod and say the play sounds wonderful, but tomorrow there is going to be a duel taking place.
As soon as he mentions duel, Mila just kind of turns toward Aeson, just kind of looks at him.
Aeson will look back and then look to Sir Van Duskin. Yes, Pembroke has challenged me to a duel, and I have, of course, accepted.
Yes. I would say he probably would eventually. He had come to our town not too long ago and challenged some of us. I believe, really, I didn't take a liking to duels, and though I did acknowledge him, I did not participate. But I do wish you the greatest of triumphs, Your Majesty.
I think I shall very possibly come forward with this victoriously.
As I would only hope so, Your Majesty. Of course, my home is open to you and your stay here. If you need a place to sleep, food to eat, money at your disposal.
Oh, that won't be necessary. However, you did say you were a playwright, did you not?
Ah, indeed, Your Majesty. I am. Well, I've been written in certain reviews as a lovely playwright. Yes.
Well, then, perhaps at some point I will call upon a favor from you, and then the favor you shall receive is a stage in Graydon.
Ah, Your Majesty, you grace me with such honor. Truly.
It will all just be dependent on what I need, but I will see your play definitely tomorrow. I think you said tomorrow, or is it tonight?
Yes. It will be tomorrow, late at night. It will be just before the festivities start the next day.
Yes, I will come and attend and absolutely bring my patronage and those of my companions, and we shall revel in awe of your skill.
I shall see to it that there are some free tickets at the Curia.
And I thank you for that.
Now, Your Highness, I must ask. I was visited the other day by a young gentleman. I'm pretty sure he had stated some kind of not really how best to put this. I know this from rumor has been a very tender topic for you, but I hear the dignitary from Eris is in town, and Well, it seems that Your Highness... Majesty Maggie is in town.
She is in town?
If what is said by the boy is true, yes. He was looking for her whereabouts, as he had apparently come into town with her, but was having trouble finding her. He went by the name of Edmund.
Edmund, you say?
Yes.
Well, I shall have to locate her then. She is a very important person to me, as the rumors you have heard are true.
Sorry, I didn't want to be a sticky beak and get too into your personal life, Your Highness.
I don't care much who knows it. I just want to make sure she is safe. These times are quite trying between Graydon and Eris, and quite trying in the land of Talalia in general.
Yes. And between you and me... Well, Your Highness, I've heard quite a bit fair of rumors as they are hiring guards from Luxbar close by. Few pass through town.
I've heard as well. It sits ill with me. I do not wish to see any bloodshed between the two. We are all brothers and sisters in Talalia. There's no need for petty squabbles to get between us.
Indeed. Might I interest you in some tea? Maybe something to nibble on?
Tea would be lovely. Mila, what would you like? Aeson will turn to Mila and look at her.
Tea would be lovely. Hopefully it won't take too long.
He'll clap his hands to his side. Vestia, please, hurry up with our refreshments, dear. Our guests are waiting.
Mila kind of turns her head again to look at Aeson, slightly rolling her eyes a bit.
Aeson is standing straight up at attention, as fancy as a man he can be. He knows he's encountered this type of noble before, so he knows that if he shows any sort of weakness, he'll be eaten alive. So he is being what a prince should be, even though that is not Aeson.
Your Highness, if I might, please, come. The dining room awaits.
After you, my friend, and he will hold his hand out to have him lead the way. Not for him to grab it, but like pointing ahead.
Mm-hmm. You guys see more of the, how best to put it, the elegance of his kind of clothing. It's very puffy, almost artistry, as if it's been made particularly to be a piece of, or like a point of communication, almost to start conversation. It's, I can't even think about the best way to explain the type of clothing it is, because it's not even fully era. It's a bit different. So the gentleman before you is a lot like he looked in the street, just different clothing. This is a bit more elegant. His dark hair, very long, flowing, almost curly, wrapped in a ponytail behind his head. His small beard is trimmed and critiqued into a little tiny point with a little bit of a golden tint at the very top of it. It looks as if there's a brass fastener that is just the epitome of his look. Because as far as you go down from there, everything is this royal purple and royal gold. And everything between the fastenings of his jacket have these intricate little gemstones or some sort of design to them. Amongst his hands are a lavishing amount of rings. And his eyes give this very soft but keen kind of look to them. So it's almost as if, yes, he's looking at you, he's being very nice and generous, but at the same time, those eyes, well, they could pierce through your soul if you give them a second.
which is why I said Aeson is standing the way he is and acting the way he is. He knows these guys.
You'll be led into a room that is probably just as elegant as the last. Stoneworking, tapestries along the side, one as such with the mark of what seems to be a sort of like a spike almost going into a coffin. And he'll set you down at this rather large table and set kind of across from you. So, Your Highness, Your Majesty.
Yes, good sir.
What is there of any way I might potentially help you along your stay, other than, of course, the evening festivities for tomorrow night?
Aeson will take a second to ponder. Just like I said, if I ever call upon you for a favor, remember, what is in it for you as well? That is all I ask.
Oh, of course. I always know when calling upon me that Your Majesty has always been very just and kind as to the payment in which I've received. I believe I did a bit of a favor for your father not too long ago, and he actually gave me the starting gold in order to open up my theater.
My father is a generous and wonderful man. His love knows no bounds.
Indeed. It's such a sad thing to see the strife between Eris and Graydon, knowing that of him already.
It baffles me, but I was never one too much for the courts. The intrigue, it bored me. But, not to say that I wasn't there for it, but I just don't understand what has gone wrong.
Well, in my time in the courts, I have learned many things. Things very interesting, things very useful. I do believe your father, in a way, seems as though he's searching for something. That seems to be all that I can gather. I made a dignitary pass through Graydon roughly about 3 months' time ago.
And I assume you were treated well.
Oh, of course. I was given one of the loveliest rooms with the loveliest beds, the ornate dinings, and lovely meals, and I even got to see some of the theaters that you have in Graydon, though I must say that if I were ever to change, I'm sure I could give your father a wonderful show.
Aeson will smile at that and say, well, the next time you are in Graydon, and Aeson will hand him, he will take out a piece of paper really quick from his back and scribble something down on it and say, next time you are in Graydon, you can pass this to my father or whoever's there, and you shall be able to stay in my room in the castle.
That's a high honor. Thank you very much.
You are quite welcome, my good sir. Your hospitality has known no bounds.
So, Vesperia, the female, she will enter the room. She will set these lovely glasses down, almost ornate with this silver or pewter trimming, almost like vines growing from the bottom of the cup. Inside is an interesting green tea, and she will set down kind of scones and small treats on a platter in the center. Thank you, my lady. Please dismiss yourself. And she'll nod to you.
Aeson will hold a hand up. Sir Van Duskin, she has toiled to make us this. Perhaps she could join us.
Oh, I really couldn't. I still have laundry, and I still have a few other chores. She'll.
It would please me nothing more than to have her join us.
She's going to look almost worried at this point. And he's going to look between you and her. So Duskin is just going to be peering at her for a moment, almost piercingly, and then look back to you, but a little bit softer.
Aeson is going to be sitting back straight, looking directly at Sir Duskin, hands crossed in front of him.
Vespero, you've heard the man. He would love your company. Please sit and join us. And he scoots over his tea. You may have my drink as well. And he'll look back and he'll smile.
Aeson
Clearly aggravated.
Aeson will give him a polite bow, but also when he's back straight, smiling at him. So, as for the festivities, what kind of year is this for Croca? I haven't been to the festivities in ages. Is this a busy year?
Well, the last year we didn't have much of a turnout. I didn't have a play going on, though, so that might have had something to do with it.
Most likely. I've heard many tales of your plays, and I can't wait to see one in person.
Ah, I see. Thank you. It's such a high honor. I would say that another reason is... Well, last year we had a few rumors about the High King in a certain area. Of course, they were all rumors. The High King's been disappeared for 5 years. So a few of us think that there may never be a return.
Well, we can all hope that there is. The High King is a good man, from what I've heard.
I should hope so. I don't believe I had the honor.
And this Pembroke man wants to duel for the honor of becoming the High King. So, in my mind, someone who searches for power often lets power overwhelm them. And that is the reason why I've accepted his duel.
Now, I know this might not be much coming from me. I do worry about Pembroke. He seems to be the type that has issues with power. Although he's always had an issue with me. For some reason, I can never figure out why. And you'll see him kind of pull a bit of his bangs back behind his ear.
What does he not like about you?
He seems to think that I'm... Oh, I can't even say it. It's too rude. I believe he used the word... pompous?
He probably took exception to you not wanting to duel him as well, even though in my opinion, him challenging you to a duel is an affront to you, because dueling obviously is not what you specialize in. You are an actor and an entertainer. You are not one for the sword and for the gruels of combat.
I did reach out to him as well, Your Highness, to see if he might be interested instead on a one-on-one improvisational challenge. And he's going to kind of give, like, the mystical fingers as he waves his arms a little bit in front of him. But yes, it seems as though he was not interested.
He should have accepted it. The High King is not just about power, it is about being fair and someone who can be kind to all of the people under his control.
I agree. Unfortunately, I was cut off by Sir Brimsworth. Him and that boy. You know, last week he threw a stone through my window. And all he did was pat the boy on the butt. I think that boy should have been grounded for a week.
Through your window.
Oh, okay, ball of some kind. But there was a stone inside of it.
And that is most uncouth of him.
Indeed. Children these days must learn manners.
Mila kind of starts fiddling a bit as he says that.
He'll kind of give you a very pointed look. You kind of get the feeling, and this is the kind of just a general feeling of what you might get. You ever get that eerie feeling where it's like, oh no, the sharks picked up the blood in the water?
Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna give a light grin.
Fuck.
Wouldn't you agree? I apologize. It seems We haven't communicated much, as you are also in the room, Your Highness.
I'm not as high as Prince Aeson over here. Just lady is fine.
Lady it is. That's also going to seem to tick on his radar.
Yeah, she's gonna try to straighten her back a little bit more. Because, yeah, she's picking up that, like, he's nailing in on her insecurities. You have to say?
Well, my lady, even those of us who are not nearly as noble as Your Highness can still agree that, those who break certain etiquettes of our ways of life should necessarily have some sort of punishment. I mean, after all, in ways like this, we have people who start doing brash things, stealing, maybe kidnapping, running away, turning into heathens. You know.
I would say that, maybe the child, well, they should, of course, listen to their parents. They're their own free person, and they can do what they want.
Well, yes, but it is up to the parents to instill these honors and the way of life that is procured from our nobility, our people who have learned over the years of what should be appropriate in certain circumstances.
There is appropriate, yes, of course, but then there is one's own free will.
Oh, I'm not trampling on free will. It is one's free will to throw the stone through the window, but one should also know that an apology is due once that stone has smashed a window, would you not say?
Well, maybe the person who had the stone thrown through the window deserved the stone to be thrown through the window.
Aeson will turn to Mila and look at her.
Yeah, she just kind of like stops for a moment, realizing what she said, just like,
I dare not try to speak against you, my lady, but I think if we kept throwing stones through those windows who we believe deserved it, none of us would have a window.
I agree with Sir Van Duskin on this one. There is no reason for someone to go about throwing stones. If you have a problem with someone, you talk with them civilly.
Well said, Your Highness.
Mila's gonna get quiet again and kind of start fiddling with the sleeves of her dress underneath the table.
He's going to give a very pointed smile.
But, with that being said, Mila comes from a different land. Their cultures may be different there, and I believe they deserve as much respect as we do.
Oh, of course. I was not merely saying that there was no respect, but just that I might see things a different way.
Understandable. For as far as I am concerned, Mila has the same standing as I do. Just as you do, Sir Van Duskin.
Of course, as I will continue to address her as my lady.
And thank you for showing her the respect that she deserves.
And he'll give a nice small kind of head bow.
Yeah, Mila kind of returns it, just kind of bows back. She's kind of fidgeting more a bit. It looks like she's really
Is she sitting next to Aeson?
I would imagine.
Aeson will reach a hand under the table and grab her hand and give it a squeeze.
Yeah, she just kind of like takes a deep breath and just like then just like straightens her back again and holds her head up high.
The tea is lovely, Sir Van Duskin. I must thank you. And what was her name again? What was your name, my lady? And he'll turn to the servant.
She'll look up from her glass, having not touched her tea. Vesperia.
Vesperia, thank you for the tea. It is quite wonderful.
It's rather lovely.
Yes, we, my lord, imports it from the docks close by who get it from certain areas in the world. I believe what we're drinking now is from Claude. It's called some sort of Mausheth tea.
Oh. It's rather good.
I do enjoy a good tea around this time. Must I say that you can tell quite about a man by the help he keeps, and as well as you can tell about the help by the man that she serves. And you both are doing an excellent job.
Thank you. Yes, that is quite the compliment, Your Highness.
Aeson will
However,
nod.
I do regret to say that I must soon leave for the theater. I must get the new version of the script to the people.
Well, that works perfectly for Mila and myself, as we must go to the next house and introduce ourselves as well. What have you to say of the rest of the nobility here?
Well, I had been taught that if normally you have nothing good to say, you should not speak it, though there are a few good things to say.
I understand completely.
Brimsworth, though originally not coming from nobility, has found his way happily amongst the nobility. He's quite a good man. That's about all there. I have noticed that Madame Tepenta is rather interesting. She is one of elegance and grandeur and all around a very noble lady, judging back from way, way back to the Blue Bloods. As for the others, I don't believe I've had too much of an acquaintance with them before. Most of them intend on traveling, and one necessarily only comes around once a year. Although he has no kin, and unfortunately the man seems to be pushing an older age, so we're not sure how much longer we might have him.
Quite unfortunate.
How tragic.
Indeed. However, I've made sure that when the time comes, and things unfortunately do happen, I will be able to take control of the estate and see to it that it is kept in order until purchased from someone else of nobility.
That is a most kind thing of you to do.
Indeed.
Well, if you don't mind, you must keep going, as must we. May we excuse ourselves from your presence?
Of course.
And
Should you need anything, I will be easily contacted here through Vesperia, who will be here most of the day, attending to chores and other duties.
And I thank you for that. And Aeson will stand, and he will give a bow to Sir Van Duskin, and then a bow to Vesperia. Thank you, my lady. If we need anything, we will come and contact you.
Of course.
Mila gives like a small smile to her and just a little bow to her as well.
She'll smile and, of course, give a curtsy.
And with that, Aeson will start heading towards the door.
Same with Mila.
You guys will leave the room, however, neither of them will follow you out. The doorway will be, of course, in front of you. And you'll see that, of course, he'll give a smile as the door is closing, but he will close the door to this kind of meeting/dining hall, leaving him and her in the same room, alone.
Oh, I hope I didn't get her in trouble.
But as you guys exit the building, if that is what you're doing, unless you would like to do anything else.
No, I don't think I'm going to go snooping around to stuff.
Do I want to do this? No. Ignore me. Yeah.
Okay. Upon entering back outside, you'll see that the rain has picked up again. It's a little bit heavier than it was before. Though it's still not full-on crashing down thunderous lightning and rain. It is a lot heavier. I think that's a good place to kind of switch away from you guys. We're going to meet up Zachariah and Lynn heading towards the stables after just procuring the favor from the Mangas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys will be making your way back up through kind of the mid-quarters of the town, where most of the festivities can be found during this time of the event. So you'll see kind of the arena off to the long distance of closer to the higher quarters. That's in between sort of the higher quarters and the mid-quarters. You'll see a couple of vendors down a few certain amount of streets. This is the more or less the district for like purchasing favors and items and restocking or maybe souvenirs for the year. However, most of those seem packed up, as most of those stalls are normally sitting outside, but with this heavy rain, it'd pretty much soak anything. There are a few that are still brave enough to kind of sit out in the rain, but those normally have like tables that they're able to sit out and have kind of like a sloping tapestry. They keep their items dry or clean.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So much for purchasing anything today. Alright, so what's the plan when we get there?
Well, first of all, to find to find her.
Let's see, what we have so far. Female like she just like has her hand in well, she has her chin resting in her hand, just mulling over to herself. Okay, we have female football, emerald necklace. That seems to be the major points of knowledge at this point.
That and she loved animals and staying by the stables. Not a lot to go on, but
the plus side, furballs kind of stand out, but we can't make assumptions.
true, but knowing these folks, like I said, they're testing us. So they're going to want us to find them. They send out for a little bit of a reason. So, let's show head on.
Right. Not much here except for rain, and god damn it, the cloak is going to take forever to dry.
Zachariah just shrugs. Right now, Zachariah is just wandering around in lower quality clothes than he usually wears. So it's like, at least it's not my good clothing.
Shut up, it's
So-
my love.
Do we remember any details that he might have given on how to find her?
The major points was that female furball, emerald necklace, hangs out around the stables. And aside from like the trinkets, I don't think much else was stated with that regard.
He didn't really say much else.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So, if you guys are continuing on towards the stables, you will find that they are pretty packed. It seems that they have horses of all different kinds, even donkeys. They have Clydesdales, they have draft horses, they have racing horses, they have noble horses, they have pure breeds, mixed breeds, they have white horses, patchings, pretty much anything you can think of. And it seems that this stable, among three others in Croca, are pretty much packed to the brim. You can see that there is a marking map just before you kind of get to the stables itself. And it says that, basically in common it reads, vacancies closed. You may make your way to any of the 2 other stables in Croca in hopes of finding some sort of housing for your animal. You can check the lower quarters and the mid quarters.
It's going to be a bit of an issue. She could be at any one of these stables. Possibly.
I mean, yeah, but at least we have some sort of... And at the very least, we can just glance, see, hopefully get some... work our way around from there. As she's, adjusting the, both the handkerchief and she's attaching the pin as well, both into her chest pocket. Just to, make it somewhat visible in case someone, who would be able to recognize it would see, but not too out of place.
And which pin is this? This is from the Mangus?
Yes, the gold pin.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, having it secure with the handkerchief in a chest pocket.
Okay.
For the most part, Zachariah is just going to be looking, and his hunch is mainly going to be looking towards the actual area where the animals are kept.
Okay.
Where the Emerald Fighter may be at.
All right. If I could get you to give me a potential, not a potential. If I could get you to give me a perception check.
All right.
And you're just kind of peering over it. You're not kind of going inside to investigate.
Just peering around for right now.
Okay.
So that is a 7.
That is a 7. With the heavy rain, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. You definitely don't see a furbog. It seems that most of the people here are either human or some other kind of race. Strangely enough, rarely you see a dragonborn who is dealing with one of the Clydesdales.
I don't seem to see her. What do you think our approach should be?
Vague yet somewhat open. Don't give away too much information. See if they at least have someone who works here for it. Especially keep an eye on if they know someone with that sort of jewelry. Not certain.
All right.
Play it by ear at this point.
All right, take the lead then.
And then we'll head down to get a better look at the area and the people within, especially around the animals.
So Zachariah's going to stay about 4 to 5 paces backwards.
Okay. So you're going in to investigate. Zachariah's staying behind.
Well, he's a few steps behind, just to give it a little breathing room, it seems.
All right. The real question is, are you entering the stables?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and give me an investigation then.
All right, let's do this. It's a 12.
With a 12, upon kind of walking in and kind of taking a look around, just kind of peering through, more of an actual inquiry. You're going to find that there is 2 humans and 1 dragonborn in the stables, but there is no sign of a furbog.
Let's see. What are each of them doing? The dragonborn, well, Lynn wouldn't know, but it's apparently the dragonborn is tending to a Clydesdale.
Yeah, he's brushing down a Clydesdale. The other 2 men are getting feed for the rest of the animals.
Let's see. Lynn will actually approach the dragonborn since they seem a bit interesting.
Hi, excuse me.
Lahul.
Oh,
Sorry. Yes.
sorry to interrupt.
Hmm.
Was just curious. We're looking for someone who may frequent the stables or maybe work for some of them. Do you happen to have a female verbal frequent around here?
Never heard of her, never seen her.
Really?
Never heard of her, never seen her.
Insight?
You might use an insight if you wish.
Yes, I would like to insight.
Am I close enough to be able to do so?
I would say yeah.
All right.
I would say for you, though, Blue, it would be at a disadvantage.
Well, I mean, that's not needed.
That's a 7.
Yeah.
Let me see what he's got. That's a 7! So you are both able to see that might not be the truth at all.
Mm-hmm.
No one fitting that description you know of.
Nope.
Especially not one with certain garments.
If you're looking for a lady of the night, you can find her in the brothel.
Sorry, not in the mood for that at this time. But, I don't know, I just have this sort of feeling, maybe,
And she's gonna be like reaching into her coin pouch for a second.
maybe something to, I don't know, you might know something that can help lead the way, lead to proper location, or someone who would know better.
And she's just like taking, palming like 2 or 3 gold coins out, just enough for him to see.
I'm surprised you're even talking to me with that on your chest. And he's going to motion to the golden pendant.
Yes?
Mm-hmm. Favor of the Mangus. Hater of most races. You're not the type I wish to speak to. So, unfortunately, you can flare all the gold you want, but... no.
Zachariah kind of just stepping up at this point. You also forgot to see the handkerchief. We're looking for multiple people for multiple reasons.
The most pressing one I need the Emerald Fire's assistance with.
Because even so, I don't think we have too much of the favor of the Mangus, more than just the cooperation. He's no friend of ours.
Think of it like this. If we
Especially pointing towards Zachariah.
have his favor, as well as a hammer, you think it's going to be important for all of them to be involved.
It's not really my place usually to give away that kind of information, but... you might find her in the upper town. The Cathedral of Aphrodite. Every so often she'll go there to feed the pigeons that they use to send messages. It seems to be about that time of the year. Time of the day as well.
Interesting. Well, thank you.
Oh, and trust me, you didn't hear this from me.
What are you talking about? You never saw her, you never known her.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And just with that, Zachariah's already spinned on his heel and he's walking away. Backwards kind of wave.
She will palm 2 gold coins in her hands and it's like,
Sorry to bother you then. Looks like this is a bit of a waste.
and offer a hand for a shake.
Do you know much about the Dragonborn?
Can't say I do. Not exactly someone I see in my line of work.
He's gonna stop for a minute. He's gonna kind of take a hand, and you're gonna see his crimson red scales kind of push out some of the dead hair from the brush and everything like that, kind of clean it off a little bit. See where I come from. Dragonborn, well, they work hard. We don't take handouts.
Not meant to be a handout. Didn't mean to offend.
No, it's fine. But we like to earn it. Not that you're doing anything wrong. I've not met many of my kind who haven't felt this way. He'll gesture out the other hand to shake yours, the one that he currently knows has no gold in it.
She will give a knowing accepting nod and give a hand to shake.
He'll smile, and he'll return back to his work.
Okay. And slowly back out of there. Like she's gonna look away for a second because she feels kind of embarrassed, but at least knowing that there's someone good like that in the world. And just make her way out of the stable.
All right.
So, ready to go to church?
Might as well see how the other temples are.
Not a place I thought I would see myself at. Oh well, let's get going.
Why not? If anything, at least the environment, even if you're not a follower, tends to be a good place to just sit and relax, knowing there's a bit of peace in the world.
I would beg to disagree, but we have work to do.
Right. Fair point.
And make her way up.
All right. So you guys are going to make your way through Midtown up into the richer area of town. There will be a large cathedral. It is dedicated to what seems to be some sort of sea foamish symbol. And of course, you can see that up above the main cathedral, there is a small bell tower which seems to have the looks of some sort of cage and the flapping of certain birds around the area.
Can I do a check on the symbol, the seafoam symbol, as you said?
Sure.
What kind would that be? Religion, I'm assuming?
You could do religion. You could also do, I think, let me take a look here. So it would fall under either religion or history as well.
All right. That is a 16.
With a 16, let's see, we got a history. In the history of Aphrodite, it is said that she was born from sea foam. She was kind of a mix between the water and rose for the sea foam herself as she formed her form. So it seems to be kind of like the symbol of this cathedral itself.
All right. So, what do you think they're feeding the pigeons at?
If there's anything like my contacts, tend to keep them in an open area, give them some air. Especially like with the sort of leavings they have, don't exactly want that thing going around too much.
Mm-hmm.
Most probably the roof, if anything.
Well, let's see if we can find our way up there then.
After you?
So Zachariah is just going to... I guess he's going to just circle the building for a little bit to see if there's any doors that seem to be off to the back, possibly that seems to go upwards. Just like a staircase kind of exit.
You can give me a quick investigation if you like.
All right. Fucking hell. 5.
With an investigation of 5, you wouldn't be able to see anything kind of similar to that you're looking for.
Fine. All right. I guess inside it is. Let's go.
Oh, I just realized I didn't mean to laugh at the roll. There was something else that came up.
So, when you guys enter the main double doors, one, you're going to be affronted by a very lovely sight inside. The cathedral is full. Most seats have been taken. They seem to be of kind of middle-class people. There is the hierarchy of what seems to be the main, or what are they called? They're not preachers, they're...
Chaplains?
Yes. The main chaplain seems to be standing on a pedestal. He seems to be reciting some sort of passage, as he seems to be wrapping a tie of rope around two people's hands who seem to be intertwining them. To the best of your knowledge, you have just walked into a wedding.
Awkward.
Though nobody really seems to be... so you guys didn't loudly come in, so nobody seems to really have stopped or to seem to be upset in any general means of your guys' entrance.
So, is this area of the church just the main part, and there's like no way to go through without going into this wedding, or is there like a way to go around, possibly other rooms to possibly check and to not disturb this wedding?
Give me a quick perception.
All right,
I'd like to assist with that, if anything.
no need.
That is a natural.
Oh, wow.
So with a natural 20, with everybody sitting and kind of taking a look around the area pretty quick, the layout is pretty simple. So you've got the main floor with several pews. You have to the right of you, behind certain pillars, there are these boxes for confessions. So over to the left of you are doorways leading into what seems to be some sort of back room or more of a corridor leading into further of the actual place itself.
Mm-hmm. So kind of just kind of leaning in over towards Lynn. So, you think we're appropriate, or should we dress a little bit more appropriate if we're going to be moving about?
What do you have in mind?
Well, it's a church. It probably won't be too much of a bother right now. Initially, just go check around, see if there's a way up to the roof. He's going to point off to the left side, towards the doors that seem to lead to other rooms.
As long as you remain respectful, it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Oh, there's a bit of the issue. Anyway, let's get going. He's going to start walking off the left corridor.
Yeah, and Lynn will follow.
Okay. Upon walking into the corridor itself after opening the door, you'll find that there is kind of a Y direction in which you can take. If you walk down this corridor a little bit, you'll find rooms that you have windows through the doors or kind of like openings in the doorway that you can see that the priestessage and other kind of clergymen are kind of having their own places to sleep in here. There is another corridor to the left that will take you back to the kitchen, and in front of you there will be the stairwell leading upstairs into the bell tower.
That's the one. Zachariah's just going to be walking off. Let's get this done as quickly as possible in his mind.
Okay.
Does he look visibly agitated?
He looks very stoic. Very what's the word? Just low eyelids. Just straight to the point at the moment.
Okay. Alright, sort of like how Lynn was with the setting up for the mangas. Alright, and she'll follow. Just
After... Oops, sorry.
no, go ahead.
After a bit of a walk up the steps, and this is 3 or 4 flights of stairs. you're going to have to kind of get up to. You're going to open what seems to be kind of like a wooden door that more like a trap door, really. You kind of flip it over, it lands on the other side, and you can walk up the rest of the stairs into the actual bell tower itself. The bell tower is roughly, I'd say 25 by 25 feet, full square, and in the dead center of it is the large bell made of iron. Walking around it, you'll notice there are cages all over the place, and there seems to be bird secretions
Yeah.
over most of the floor. So that's kind of covering the area. But you will hear kind of a person kind of whispering and just softly mumbling to these creatures. As you make your way around, you're going to get more of a view of this person. And their frame is relatively slender. Their clothing, not so noble. Their clothing is pretty interesting, almost patchy. Black pants, maybe a tarnish of like a bluish kind of fringe of fabric around the hips, a satchel to the side, and this lovely small button vest. You'll see the almost stone not textured, but stone-colored skin that kind of colors most of the body. And her hair seems to be a reddish in color, although the sides mostly shaven with a small ponytail in the back. You will notice that there is, if you kind of come around the corner a bit, there is a large amulet kind of draping around the neck. This is rather bulky, but it is made of pure emerald.
So, at this point, Zachariah has been trying to be quiet, not so much, quiet of I don't want you to know I'm here, quiet to I don't want you to know I'm here, but if you do see me, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going to kind of try to listen in to see what she's saying. Just curious to try to get a read of the person before we talk to her.
You might hear a bit of cooing, almost, as if she's not really saying much of anything, really. It's more or less like some sort of form of communication in a way. She'll look over to you, and you're going to notice that her eyes are also of some sort of pure emerald color.
Oh, wow.
Well, hello there.
Hello? How may I help you?
Actually, you could help us a lot. And pointing off to Lynn in the pocket on her shirt. We've been needing to speak to you about the city.
What about?
We needed to arrange a meeting with all the guild leaders for assistance. Because in taking a look around, but obviously it's being on the roof of a building, probably very little place to hide. But still somewhat being cautious and a little bit quiet. We have reason to believe that the town is in danger and could use the assistance of the guild leaders.
And of what danger?
A catastrophic danger.
One that could potentially risk the lives of hundreds, if not thousands, of people that come here.
And you believe I can help how?
Well, mainly hoping to use the, your authority and the assets and yes, and influence. You influence the manpower you have as the leader of a legendary guild mainly to help prevent people from getting into the city, keep people away whenever possible by the day of the event.
And get the people who are in here out.
Hopefully without drawing too much attention. But honestly, at this point, anything to keep the casualty rate as low as possible.
Tell me a little more about this threat.
It's just gonna be looking around the area. Actually, 1 second.
What's the you said it's about what, probably like 4 p.m. now or something?
Judging by the time that it's taken, both getting information from the stables and moving up to a different area in the town, I'd say it's probably about 5.
All right, so it's starting to get a little bit dimmer.
Yeah.
Right. Is there any type of shading within the bell tower itself? Like a darker?
For the most part, I would say there is good coverage. Most of the cages line around the bell tower itself, which blocks out most anybody from being able to really kind of jump in or really spy from the outside.
More on lighting wise.
Lighting wise, I wouldn't even say it's still dark. It's getting darker in the evening, but you're still dealing with sunlight as it's kind of an open bell tower besides the cages.
I see.
Though the visibility from anywhere around might be difficult with all the rain that's kind of pattering the rooftops and making anything beyond kind of like a 30 to 40 foot kind of scan almost impossible.
Mm. The danger itself is one of a very big nature, which we have been given a bit of a foresight to.
Nature of kind. Well, I don't want to see anybody hurt. So, I'm willing to help. But, where shall we meet?
Well, I believe that's up to the Hammer, is it not? We haven't been told of a specific place, have we?
Not that I can recall, either Hammer or Valeska was supposed to meet up and determine that.
Valeska will take us to some downtown bumpkin place. I just wish to be out and open a little, maybe out of town. We speak, we come back in using nature as our cover.
Well, that's a little bit out of our jurisdiction. That's more for Hammer and you guild members to decide. I don't think we have the pool power to suggest anything when you are helping us.
No worry, I'll send word to Hammer, and I'll send word to Drumpkin Wharf.
I understand you have your difficulties with him, but please understand that he's
People's
helping
lives are more important.
Exactly.
For
We
that,
appreciate-
you no need to explain.
Well, then I think that we are done here. Then thank you for your help.
No, not quite yet.
Hmm?
Who might you be?
I'm
Yourself.
Zachariah and Lynn.
And you?
Just call me Lynn.
Lynn.
Lynn
Lynn.
Keldrin.
Children. Yes. I see. And you are of guild?
No. Well, no. Just people who have been thrust into a situation
Wandering do-gooders.
Pretty much.
I
You
see.
know, those old tales that kind of came to life for once.
Word too wise. If you wish to be taken serious by guild, you should join or become guild. We are more open to those of our people.
I see.
Not that I will not listen, but it may go much farther for others. If you're really looking to make an impact.
Anything to make this whole thing go smooth. It's been on our minds, but I think it's more than likely we've come to an impasse, and it's becoming a pain to not be one at this point.
Most adventurers find it that way, as it was built specifically for adventurers. It is quite helpful. Even when not fully part of guild, you find friends in places never expected.
I mean, fair point. In the very least, it'd be a very useful source of information and clout to be part of a guild. No, we'll have to discuss that with our other friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, that's definitely going to be on our minds. I will ask this. I've asked most of the others. How likely do you think this will work out? The working together of the other guild members. Of the legendary guilds.
Getting us to speak, not difficult. Getting us to agree, difficult. Getting us to help, not difficult. We like people. We like our people. We love guilds, and we love the people who we protect. So, good chance.
Well, that's the most optimistic message I've heard all day.
I can assure you, if people risk or is at risk, I will help. Even if they say no.
All right, well, thank you.
We need more people like you in the world.
Well, some might not agree. But thank you.
And kind of giving a snap to his fingers. Oh, before we go, we introduced ourselves. Who might you be? We know you as the Emerald Fighter. Is there anything else we may call you?
Berga.
Berga?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Berga.
Berga.
Berga Krinchkov.
I'll commit it to memory. Well, until we meet again. And Zachariah is just going to start heading towards the exit.
Lynn will take note of that, but give Burke a light bow and say to her,
Thank you again, and may Taiki grant fortune upon you.
As she does you.
she's gonna have this soft smile on her face and just follow Zachariah out.
All right. So you guys have met all of the available legendary guild leaders.
Now the main thing is like trying to set up a location and meeting time, and we have to go on that with Hammer and Fleska. And Fleska is flaky kitty. God. And also meeting with the guilds. I mean, actually making a guild. You know what you have?
Yes. That means we need to think of a name for the guild.
Uh,
How's Molten Gold sound to y'all?
I'm pretty sure I told.
Lynn doesn't have
Sure.
the muscle for that.
We could talk about this ad game.
Sorry.
Copyright infringement there.
We're gonna have we have Zachariah and Lynn heading back to the inn, I presume, correct?
Nothing else left to do, and Zachariah wants to speak with Flora anyway.
There might be one thing Lynn would want to do, but that would require her meeting with someone if she knows.
That's up to you.
He has to go do his date with Flora.
Jesus Christ.
Like
on the way back.
Zachariah, do you have a moment? I'm just thinking on the way,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to make sure that we can up our chances a little more. I mentioned to you guys before that I wanted to one of my contacts while in town.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, has some stuff to speak to him about already, what with the faded cloak and all, and see if they can actually, I don't know, see what eyes and ears are about here. See if they can press some hands. See if they can, I don't know, act a little bit more like brigands, trying to divert some attention away. Just every little bit of energy, just every little bit of effort we can get.
My tongue.
All right. Seems like I mean, this is more of your area, but if you think this will help, then sure. Though, I wanted to talk to you as well about the what they said about the guild.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still think it's a bad idea to lump ourselves with Aeson and Mila at the moment, for obvious reasons. But correct me if I'm wrong. Do you remember if people themselves can be taken off of a registry for a guild?
Actually, I was curious about that as well, and especially as one big part.
Would she recall if there was a way to remove yourself from a registry or move your name from a guild listing, or especially in Lynn's mind, if there's a way to track you by your name with a registry?
So you would know that any kind of bartender that is part of the official bars that deal with the guild, they would be able to tell you the name of those who run a legendary guild location-wise. Unless you have taken a quest, they can't really kind of give out that information, and normally they wouldn't give out that information for personal privacy, unless say circumstances were dire and you were needed. Maybe a relative was hurt or certain information needed to get to you in time. But other than that, that's about it.
All right. And for Zachariah's part, if there's a way to remove from the registry.
If you are part of a guild, you can disband a guild and they can remove that from the registry. You can also leave a guild at any point, and they would remove you from the listings of said guild members.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, I'd be relaying back to him.
From what I recall, the only real way in order to get your name off the listing would be to the guild or have the guild disband.
Yeah, I see. Well, then I have an idea. We need to be part of a guild to earn a little bit of trust. Our dilemma is two of our group we really shouldn't be lumping in with yet during this whole event until at least a little bit later. Only issue is, if I recall, it takes, what was it, 3 members to form a guild?
I think it was 4. Yeah, I think it was 4 members.
Actually, would aliases work in that regard?
Potentially, yeah.
I mean, they could go by aliases for the time being. We don't really have much choice. We don't know many other people aside Flora.
That's the issue. It's starting to seem like Flora at least being a placeholder for right now. At least until Aeson and Mila are ready. She might have to join in. I feel like she probably would, but I don't know if we should ask her to help us. To
You cut out there.
kind of the guild life. I don't know if she would. I don't know if it would suit her. That, and she'd be more intertwined in this whole ordeal more than ever.
Lynn's gonna bite her lip a little bit.
She might actually know a little more than we anticipated. Apparently, she did come here because
Like, she's gonna be lowering her voice a bit and lean closer to Zachariah.
she felt something odd, like an ill wind come around this area. So maybe she sent something off as well.
Mm-hmm. Even a little bit more reason to give her the ability to not be tethered to us, just in case. I guess we have a little choice.
Well, maybe this plus the guild thing is best to bring up with the others. I mean, they're
You
all
could
involved.
always join a guild that's pre-made.
And yeah, just kind of lifting up his chin and sigh. That's very rude, you know. He's not even looking at her, just
She'll so Faleska will kind of make her way in between your guys' feet as you walk and kind of turn around, kind of back walking as you guys communicate. Sorry, I just got here. Just putting a 2 cents in.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is helpful, though. A little bit of more of a warning if you're here.
I spoke, didn't I?
Fair, and
Touche.
at least you actually showed up. Speaking of which, good news. We got all their support.
Good. All right. So, what's next then? A meeting. Meeting. We need to get them together. We probably shouldn't do it in town. If word got out that anything weird was going on, it might cause a ruckus.
She
Very good.
agreed as well.
Yeah, Emerald Fire didn't mention that she'd someplace somewhat out of town get back in by, she said by nature.
Well, maybe we could rally outside and head to a close-by farm. I'm sure I could probably procure a little bit of space for us.
So, before that, though, what did you mean by a pre-made one? A guild?
Oh, well, guilds accept new members every day.
Is that an offer, or is that just information?
Information. I hear the Faded Cloak is looking quite often.
I'd rather not.
Bet they are.
But in all seriousness, I'm sure there is some kind of a smaller guild that is requiring people.
We'll keep our ears out, though.
I would say that guilds aren't announced to the people. So though you may sign a form, and it may eventually get back to the High King, you wouldn't have to tell everyone of your plan.
True.
And most of the signatures would stay with the innkeeper. Normally they don't allow others to look through other guilds' papers.
True, but if you're saying Croca is the way it is, I doubt that book stays closed too often, especially for prying eyes up top.
Oh, you would be surprised. The last person that has been known to actually have been able to look through that book is the High King 5 years ago.
Captain, that's a cure.
Well, it's an enchanted book. Well, each of them are. They're all interconnected. That's why when you sign a page here in, say, Croca, the king over in Graydon has the same copy of the book there, and it transcribes everything that's over on it. So in a split second, once you sign, he sees it. No one else. It's very hush-hush magic.
That's both alleviating and...
No, sorry. Nah.
Terrifying.
Exactly.
I agree.
That much power and that much knowledge. I'm envious and furious at that sort of thing.
I can assure you one thing. I've been in a guild for up to 10 years now. And it's perfectly safe. I've never once had a problem.
I don't deny that. It's just more the fact of not if, but when. That's just my line of thought.
Well, let me say this. We outnumber most guards and most manpower in most towns. The guilds, as a collective, probably have about as much firepower as Graydon itself. Maybe more.
Power of the people and all that, yes. I would say probably.
Lynn at that point is just going to be like crossing her arms a bit and just like thinking, like closing her eyes, thinking to herself, just
At the same time, though, you could do a lot of damage with nothing but a name and a place.
Normally, the only thing recorded in that book are names. The only way a person of any kind of inn would be if they've designated a quest for that person at that local area. It's not written where your location's in. It's just if they happen to know.
Right.
The guild system was originally created to protect everyone. Farmers get tax cuts for helping them out and paying wages to the guilds, and we get paid more money for taking these quests. In return, we gain fame and admiration from the people. It's perfect. But really, they don't have much information to take us down. They don't have anything but a name.
All right. Well. And what of your opinion? Do you think that this pursuit will aid us as well?
Couldn't hurt. I can tell you this when speaking to a council of guild legendary leaders, being part of a guild could only help.
True.
We need every advantage we can get at this point.
Now, don't take that as a a formal thing that says that if you're not one, that we won't listen. By any means. That's not what I'm saying.
True. I just don't want to come off as opportunistic to joining a guild. All for this whole meeting itself. All right. Well, thank you.
I will see to it tomorrow. I will tell you the area in which we will be meeting. If we can get everybody to agree with the sizes of our guilds and the people below us, we could potentially have this place cleared out in a day.
Perfect.
Right. Remember, though, we have to... Sorry.
I must warn you, though you are most certain that this might happen, if for any reason it doesn't, there may be very big repercussions.
Well, if anything, you can ask Tibius. He was able to see firsthand the sort of evidence we have. The only problem is it's somewhat finicky in order to show more than once.
Oh, I'm not saying us. But I will say that Kroka will not be happy of losing out all that money.
Then we have to do this as soundly and not draw too much attention as possible.
And those are consequences I'm willing to take. And I would hope the others as well.
All right. Well, I shall see you tomorrow.
Right.
Well,
Thanks again.
And with that, she'll walk off. You'll notice that she seems to have some sort of light force field of some sort of arcana above her head, kind of shielding her from the rain.
of course.
Lucky.
He's adorable.
All right. I would guess it's time to go see a man about a book with our name in it.
All right, guys. Well, with that, I think that is a good place to end it for the night.
I'm gonna keep going.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're gonna make a guild. Sons Angels.
No.
That's why I'm glad we're ending now.
Hi, my name is Max, and I play Aeson Goldhand. Just want to remind you all to come and follow and subscribe to us on iTunes, Podbean, and Google Play at Opportunity Roll. If you guys want to get some cool magic swag and help support us, head on over to our Patreon at Opportunity Roll. Don't forget to like our Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube at Opportunity Roll so you don't miss any updates on what we're doing. And if you want to get in touch with us, please contact us at opportunityroll.podcast@gmail.com. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Kobold Press. We use their Tome of Beasts to keep our players on their toes. And we'd like to thank Purple Planet Music because we use their music for our podcast. Have a good day, everybody. And remember, keep your opportunities open.